There are many cool characters in Peppa Pig, but there are others who aren't so nice. Do you have any idea of the horrible things some characters from this cartoon have already done? Mr. Wolf. In the world of Peppa Pig, all animals live in harmony, but it seems there are a few exceptions. Mr. Wolf is one of them. He may pretend to be just a normal member of the town, but he has let his bloodthirsty nature slip a few times, and always near Daddy Pig. When Mr. Wolf moved into his new house and went to thank Daddy Pig for helping build it, he asked in a very suspicious way what Daddy Pig's house was made of. Daddy Pig realized something was off and said his house was made of bricks. This dialogue references the fairy tale The Three Little Pigs, in which the big bad wolf goes after a family of pigs to devour them. He easily blows down the straw house of one of them, but can't knock down the brick house of another pig. Could it be that Mr. Wolf wanted to destroy the pig family's home to eat all of them? That's very possible, especially because he says something else suspicious in another episode, where Daddy Pig and Mr. Wolf end up alone together on a small boat. In this scene, out of nowhere, he says he's hungry and stares at Peppa's dad in a very bizarre way. Luckily, the boat reaches dry land shortly after. Otherwise, Peppa might have ended up without a father. Believe it or not, he is just one of the 10 most evil characters you didn't know about in Peppa Pig. Stay tuned because another awesome Cinewave is already on. Mr. Fox. It's worrying that in a children's cartoon like this, there are so many evil adults. Of course, there are also good characters, but Mr. Fox is not one of them. After all, Freddy Fox's dad isn't just mean, he's literally a criminal. There are several clues that Mr. Fox is a thief on the run from the police, probably the biggest thief in all of Peppa Town. This explains why his shop has so many different products, basically selling a bit of everything. All of those items were stolen from other places. At the town's police station, we can see a wanted poster with a fox symbol identical to the symbol on his shop. The police clearly know there's a store selling stolen goods out there and even recognize the shop symbol, so maybe it's just a matter of time before Mr. Fox gets arrested. Or maybe not, considering how incompetent the police in this town are. And if you think Freddy's dad has any kind of code of honor, you might want to think again. When Peppa's school holds a fundraiser, he tricks Emily Elephant into giving him all the things she was selling at her stand for free. Yes, he had absolutely no shame when it came to robbing an innocent little child. Pirate! If Mr. Fox were the only thief in town, Peppa Town might actually be safe. But that's not the case, because there's also the pirate. We don't even need to explain what crimes this guy commits, right? It's self-explanatory. He's a pirate and spends his life looting treasures. And before you say that the pirates in Peppa Pig are a nicer version of real-life pirates, since many cartoons and movies portray them as fun adventurers, let's make it very clear that this is not the case in the Little Pig's world. Even though children play pretend as pirates and no one sees anything wrong with that, the adults make it clear that real pirates are outlaws. Madame Gazelle tells Danny Dog that he can't be a pirate when he grows up, and the police stop Grandpa Pig's boat when they see it has a pirate flag on it. In that same episode, the police find the pirate, who tricks them into thinking he's just someone playing pirate. The criminal even closes the treasure chest behind him, suggesting that all that gold was stolen from somewhere. Peppa! Now that we've talked about a pig-devouring wolf and two professional thieves, it's time to talk about someone even worse, Peppa. Just kidding, she's not really worse than them, but she still has plenty of moments where she behaves in a very unpleasant way. The little pig can be fun when she wants to be, but there are times when she shows herself to be extremely stubborn, selfish, and insensitive. Where do we even start? It's hard to choose, but let's begin with the constant bullying Peppa does. To her own dad! Yes, Daddy Pig. That loving father who works in engineering to support his family and give his children the best life possible is constantly the target of Peppa's offensive jokes. She calls him Silly Daddy because he's a bit absent-minded sometimes, but the worst part is when Peppa decides to make fun of his belly. When Grandpa Pig builds a treehouse for Peppa and George, she decides that the password to enter the treehouse will be Daddy's Big Tummy. Daddy Pig was visibly uncomfortable with everyone having to say that to get inside, and it was even worse when he himself had to say it. That wasn't even close to the worst thing Peppa has done, because she has also treated Suzy, her best friend, in terrible ways. From hanging up on the sheep's face because she knew how to whistle, unlike Peppa herself, to unfairly accusing her of cheating in a game out of pure spite. That accusation caused the two to stop being friends, and Peppa refused to admit she was wrong until the very last second. They only became friends again when Daddy Pig made both of them apologize at the same time, even though Peppa was the only one in the wrong. In other words, it was a totally insincere apology. If you also think Peppa can be pretty naughty, comment down below #evil. Suzy. Let's not pretend that Suzy is a 100% victim of Peppa. In fact, the two of them are best friends precisely because they both have complicated complicated personalities, the little sheep is also very stubborn and even more insensitive than Peppa. We see this when Dr. Hamster's turtle ends up getting stuck in a tree, because when Suzy sees this, she simply suggests knocking the tree down. That was a terrible idea since the little turtle would most likely lose its life in the fall. But Suzy got quite upset that her suggestion was rejected and kept stubbornly insisting that they should knock the tree down, even when several other people ended up stuck on top of the tree after trying to rescue the turtle. In fact, she seemed even more excited about knocking the tree down after several people climbed up into it, which raises the possibility that she wasn't making that suggestion out of innocence. It almost seemed like Suzy secretly wanted the turtle and everyone else to get hurt or even lose their lives in the fall. Could Peppa's best friend actually be a psychopath? Mr. Potato, the host adored by the characters in the series, is usually seen as a nice guy, but Mr. Potato isn't as nice as he wants to seem. You can see this when he receives Daddy Pig's drawing made by Peppa on his show. Instead of simply praising the drawing, Mr. Potato casually says that Daddy Pig needs to exercise. Yep, even he bullies the poor guy. It's pretty strange that Mr. Potato, who looks different from almost everyone else for being a vegetable instead of an animal, would have the insensitivity to criticize someone else's appearance. He probably suffered prejudice in the past, so he should know how hurtful comments like that can be. What's worse is that Mr. Potato said this on national television, humiliating Daddy Pig in front of the entire country. Mr. Bull. If there's anyone who deserves the crown of party pooper in Peppa Pig, that person is Mr. Bull. He's another character who's nice most of the time, but there are moments when Mr. Bull proves himself to be a complete jerk. Why, you might ask? Well, he thinks he can demolish any place whenever he feels like it. When Peppa takes the little fish Goldie to Dr. Hamster's veterinary clinic, Mr. Bull suddenly shows up out of nowhere with several demolition machines, saying he's building a road and will have to demolish the clinic. Yes, he only announced that after he had already started the process, without even asking Dr. Hamster for permission beforehand. Danny Dog. The case of the little dog who goes to school with Peppa is an interesting one, because he doesn't intend to be mean, but his comments always end up hurting others. It's as if he has absolutely no filter when he speaks. In the episode where Madame Gazelle tells everyone to bring a pet to school, Zoe decides she's going to bring her stuffed monkey. That's really cute, but then Danny ruins the moment by saying that it's a stuffed toy and not a real animal. And when Peppa makes fun of George for riding a small bike, Danny innocently points out that Peppa still uses training wheels, and that comment completely caught her off guard. But let's be honest, the little pig deserved it. The subscribe button is flashing just for you. Click it and hit the bell right now. George. Yeah, maybe meanness runs in the family. We don't know if it's because he's Peppa's brother, but George can also be a very naughty child from time to time. In several episodes, he makes a huge mess, like when he spills cereal all over the floor and starts playing with the food. A total lack of respect. Mummy Pig gets completely dirty trying to clean it up, and you know what's worse? He keeps playing with the food right afterward. But Mummy Pig and Daddy Pig are partly to blame for the boy's behavior, since he rarely gets scolded for acting like that. In the episode where George meets Richard Rabbit, he's also a real jerk, destroying his future best friend's sandcastle for no specific reason at all. When Richard gets revenge by destroying George's sandcastle, George starts crying, as if he didn't deserve to go through the same thing the rabbit went through. Richard Rabbit. Yes, Richard isn't exactly innocent either. Even though he's a lovable little bunny, he has his rebellious moments, especially when he's hanging out with George. One time, he and George take over Peppa's bedroom to play dinosaur fighting, making such a mess that it leaves the little pig very uncomfortable. Just imagine how entitled you have to be to cause that much chaos in a house that isn't even yours. It's likely that he only acted that way because he was with George, who must be a bad influence. But the truth is that Richard is turning into a very mischievous rabbit. The fun continues with just one click. There are 2 videos on the screen waiting for you. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.